Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
A very good morning and good evening.
Good morning.
So, firstly, welcome to the session, guys. I'm gonna be your trainer for next 1 month or 3 months based on what you choose. Okay. So today's session is all about introduction and making yourself comfortable with the course, right? I'm gonna tell you what we are going to cover in the next 3 months. Like I said, if you have opted for DevOps, it's going to be 1 month with me. Okay, if you have opted for data engineering, I'll be covering data engineering as well, right? So I'm gonna talk about the course and then what can be expected out of this course, and we'll be addressing all your questions and concerns. And like I said, today is all about making yourself comfortable with the course and other do's and don'ts. Okay, so once again, welcome to the session. Right. So my name is Suresh. I have close to 12 years of experience into IT, uh, predominantly on data engineering side of the things. I started my career as a Hadoop developer back in 2012, and then I started working on Spark later on, and then I started working on cloud. I have exposure to various clouds, AWS, GCP, and then Azure. And currently, I'm working as a cloud architect in one of the reputed organizations. Okay, and talking about my training experience, I have been doing training since 2016, guys. Have trained more than 2000 plus students on big data. Back then, people used to call it as big data or a Hadoop developer or a Spark developer. But today we don't have a lot of technical jargons. We address everyone as a data engineer, right? And then I have been training folks on Python since 2018. So this is about my experience. Now let's get into the topics. I mean, what is expected from this course. So basically, we'll be covering Python for next 1 month. When you might ask me, boss, when you say Python, Python is a very generic term. You have a lot of things in Python. In fact, 3 months or 4 months won't be sufficient just to learn Python. Okay, but let me tell you, so what I'm gonna cover and how it is going to help you if you are aiming for different, different directions, right? So basically, what I'm gonna cover is basic Python, which will get you kickstarted with programming and help you to learn any other technology. So, for example, you are aiming for a data engineer. This will create that foundation layer using which you can write your PySpark applications, develop your PySpark applications, understand PySpark framework even before developing, right? Because you cannot directly join a PySpark course and start learning PySpark without Python, right? And then maybe you want to get into DevOps, all the automations you want to do using Python, what are the Python you are going to learn in next 1 month would help you. So for example, you are aiming for a different technology, maybe, full stack development. You cannot directly start learning Django framework or Flask framework or any other frameworks, right? You should know some programming fundamentals, and all those programming fundamentals would be covered in this 1 month. Maybe you want to get into a data science, you want to become a data scientist, machine learning engineer, whatever it is, right? So again, you cannot just start with learning what is a random forest algorithm or a CNN algorithm or an RNN algorithm. No. So you need to have some understanding on the tool which you are going to use to develop applications in the technology you're preferring to do later on. Okay, so that's where what are the Python you are going to learn for next 1 month would help you. So we are going to go in a progressive way and then build step by step understanding on what a programming language is, and then we'll get to learn the do's and don'ts of Python, the best practices, and then various other concepts. I hope every one of you must have got a chance to go through the curriculum, what we have shared, but I'm gonna talk about that again. Okay, so week one is all about understanding basic concepts of Python, guys. So when I say basic concepts of Python, you know what exactly Python is, how it is different from other programming languages, and then what IDE we will be using or what web-based tool we'll be using to develop Python application, right? And then understanding the basic concepts like what exactly are the variables, data types, and then we'll talk about typecasting, and we'll talk about the other important functions, input and output functions like print and input, right? And then we'll talk about loops, conditions, control statements. So we call them together as control structures, right? So again, talking about loops, we'll talk about for loop and then while loop. Control statements, we'll talk about break and continue, then pass. So with this, we'll be covering the fundamentals of programming language. So whatever I have told right now, right, the set of concepts, they are same across any programming language, guys. You go to Java, you go to Scala, you go to uh, whatever programming language, you name it, you will find these concepts, including in SQL. Okay, if you are getting into PL SQL concepts, there is no escape. These are kind of constructs of any programming language, basic constructs. And probably once we are done with that, I'll be moving on to creating user-defined functions, how we create user-defined functions, and then we'll talk about some inbuilt functions like string functions, and then date and time modules, how we deal with dates and times, time deltas. Then we'll get into the collections, the most important part of any programming language, collections, or we sometimes refer the same to as collections framework or data structures, right? Where we'll get to learn four important collections in Python: list, dictionary, tuple, and then set. And there is another variant of set called frozen set. We'll get to learn about these collections. And once we are done with that, then we will move on to some miscellaneous concepts where we'll get to learn about how you can handle file. So when I say file, different types of files. It can be a CSV file, it can be a text file, it can be an Excel file, JSON file, right? We'll understand what exactly JSON is. We'll understand, how to deal with JSON files, like how you read data from a JSON file, how you manipulate data, how you write data back to a JSON file. Okay, and then we'll talk about how we create Python modules. Then we talk about exception handling. I'm gonna show you how you can send an email using Python, right? And once we are done with that, our last module is going to be Python JDBC, guys. Okay, so JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. Okay, so here I'm gonna use connectors to show you how you can connect to your database. Even before getting there, we will try to understand what a database is. If you are someone who is new to the technology, we'll try to understand what a database is and what operations we do. Like creating a table, how the data is stored in the form of a table, how to query data from a table. Okay, I'm gonna cover the basic concepts. I'll spend a couple of hours there, and then we'll move on to the Java code. Okay, sorry, we'll move on to the Python code, using which we will try to replicate the same scenarios. So we have four different operations there. We refer to them as CRUD, C-R-U-D. Okay, so C stands for create, R stands for read, and then U stands for update, and finally D stands for delete. So we'll do all these operations using Python on database. So I'm gonna use open source database, which is MySQL, but it's same for any other database too. It could be SQL Server, it could be Oracle, it could be IBM's DB2. It doesn't matter what database you are using, but the process would be same. Maybe you'll end up using a different connector. Okay, and for 90% of our course, I'm gonna use Collaborator Notebook, Google Colab. Okay, and for the rest of the 20%, I'm gonna use an IDE, PyCharm. Okay, so I have taken PyCharm IDE, but like I said, any other IDEs you want to use, the process would be same. Let's say you want to use Visual Studio Code, VS Code, or maybe you want to use IntelliJ IDE. At the end of the day, all these tools are IDEs. Maybe you might have to do some research on figuring out where the options are, but the way you write code, the way you execute your code, the way you debug your code would be same across all these IDEs. Okay, but in our course, I'm going to use these two. You might ask me, boss, why Google Colab for 90% of the course? Because it kind of simulates the same environment how we develop applications in data engineering, data science, and also it's really a handy tool when it comes to learning Python. I mean, user friendly, and you have different. I mean, you can write your code, split it into different cells, and then execute what's happening. It perfectly complements interpreted programming language, Python being an interpreted programming language. Maybe this word might sound Greek and Latin to you right now, but you'll get comfortable once we discussed about features of Python. Now, I have been talking for a while now. Let me take a pause uh, to address your questions. Any questions so far?
So with zero coding knowledge also, can we grasp whatever is being taught in this 1 month of Python course?
I would say yes, Rahul. So
Okay.
basically, I don't really care about your experience, whether you have 20 years of experience into coding or 0 years of experience into coding. I'm gonna start with very basics. Okay, so we'll spend good
Okay.
amount of time, and we always believe in the most important thing in life is time. Okay, you are investing some 20 to
Correct.
25
Yeah.
hours of your time into learning this. So please don't assume just because it's free of cost, we will just do things superficial. That would never happen.
Oh, no,
When
no.
we are
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No.
yeah, when we are investing time, we would definitely put our efforts into making you understand. Like I said, right, it's on you to ask questions when you are not comfortable, when you didn't understand anything, ask questions, and then you'll have to go back, practice, and come back again with questions. Okay, the more questions you ask, the more comfortable you make yourself, you will be making most of it.
Yeah, for
Suresh.
sure. Thanks, Suresh.
Suresh, we are not going to use Anaconda or anything. We're going to use only PyCharm.
Yes, Nandita. I mean, you can just install Python, or you can, if you are comfortable using Anaconda's distribution, you can go ahead with Anaconda's distribution as well. But
But
generally,
the
Mhm.
classes will vary in between each of them, right? How does it, the objects and the classes which we use will vary, right?
No,
Based on the charm you use.
no. So even in PyCharm, you can create a Python project using Anaconda's distribution or a VENV methodology. So I'll be using VENV. You can create using, Anacondas too. Okay, so generally Anacondas is for data scientists. Again, I don't want to say that, but Anacondas is whole lot of a package compared to just a simple Python. It comes up with a lot of other tools like Jupyter Notebook, and then packages that are useful for data scientists, right? So I'm not gonna get into Anaconda's distribution, but the Python code, whatever you are writing in
Mhm.
normal PyCharm or Google Colab or Jupyter Notebook using Anaconda's distribution or VENV distribution, it's exactly same. Python doesn't change from environment to environment.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Suresh, could you please elaborate the distributions that you mentioned? What do you mean by distribution?
We will talk about on that, Satish, during our course. Okay,
Okay,
so don't want to spend time there. We have separate topics for the same.
okay, good then. So
Okay,
you'll be
but to
spending
put it
some
in a
time.
high level, right? So generally Python, you can assume when you install Python standalone Python, it's like it will get you all the basic packages that are required for you to execute your Python code. Whereas Anaconda's distribution is a whole lot of uh, packages included. Like it has Jupyter IDE. Jupyter Notebook, I would say. I don't want to call it as an IDE. It's a web-based tool to write your Python applications, and then it comes with other packages which help you to develop your data science applications. It doesn't mean that normal Python, we don't have to do it. No, we can install the packages manually though. Okay, but distribution is something which comes with all included.
Okay, prepackaged.
Yeah, prepackaged, I would say. But we'll deep dive, understanding the exact differences.
So you will be spending maybe some 15-20 minutes on Google Colab. That interface might be new for many of us.
I would.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I'm not assuming any one of you know anything before joining this session. Okay.
That helps. Thank you.
Yeah.
Suresh, Kiran here. I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead, Kiran.
Okay, we were told the course is of 3 weeks duration, but you referred like 4 weeks. Just want to be sure that is it 3 weeks course or 4 weeks course?
I would say it's 3 to 4 weeks, Kiran.
Okay.
So the upcoming sessions will be planned as per the progress of this one. There is a reason why I'm telling you 3 to 4 weeks, because I cannot stop any session. I cannot continue any session without clarifying your questions, right? So we would always add that 1 week buffer.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Because the reason why I asked the question is you have the DevOps or data engineering courses coming, right? So I guess
data engineering anyway, I'm going to be the trainer, so no worries there.
Okay.
And even DevOps, the trainer could be different, but it's from the same organization. We will coordinate among ourselves.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. And I don't want to rush to. Okay, so you have questions, you are not clear with any topic, we will spend enough time, and then we'll take it forward from there.
Yeah, sure.
Makes sense?
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So you said that you'll be teaching data engineering as well, right?
Yes.
So I know Python. So is it okay that I could directly join data engineering and you could send the material just for in case revising the topics in Python?
That's totally okay, Jay Krishna. So you can coordinate with CareerIT folks for the same, like Lakshmi was mentioning, right? You will be added to different groups. I'm not sure about the logistics, how it works, because my part is only delivering the training. Okay, so you can coordinate with her, but yeah, when you're confident in Python and you know the topics that are being covered here, then why do you want to waste your time? I'm totally in line with your thought.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep. So any other questions, guys?
I have a question. There is another class, Selenium class, which is also scheduled at the same time. So it's conflicting. I am not sure how many folks are joining that. But is there any way we can choose a different time slot?
I'm so sorry. I'm not the right person to answer this question, because logistics of these sessions, right? I don't have any control.
Okay. So,
yeah, I'm just like you. You are attending sessions and I'm delivering the sessions.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hi, sorry for the inconvenience. This is Lakshmi from CareerIT. Sorry to disturb you. Yes, we do have DevOps and data engineering, both the sessions at the same time only. You please, reach us on WhatsApp number, whatever we have provided. We'll give you the other option, okay? Please reach us on those numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
And a small question before. So can you tell me just what all topics you are going to cover here in the next 3 to 4 weeks on a high level?
I think you can go through the curriculum, Ajay Krishna. So curriculum, I think it's already shared. If you haven't received it, you can connect with Lakshmi. So she have already shared, a few WhatsApp numbers. Lakshmi Garu, can you share those numbers again at the end of the session, so that if anyone haven't joined by the time you have sent this message, they can access it?
Sure, Suresh Garu, and I'll be sharing those contents here also in the chat. Okay, I'm going to share. I'm about to share. You please check once here. I'm sharing all the 3 contents. Okay, with the details. You please check once here.
Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful. Okay. So,
And one more question, like you will be providing the recording sessions, right, every day?
yes, Venu or Veni, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Sessions, the recordings would be uploaded in Google Drive, and the link for the same will be shared with every one of you. So basically, having your contact with Career IT is really important, guys. So make sure you have shared your contact number and you're contacting the right person for any information. So whatever the number shared by Lakshmi Garu in the chat window, right? That is really important. Okay. So make sure you are contacting with the right person to get everything on time, be it recordings, be it the materials I'm gonna share. Uh, when I say materials, I'm gonna share all the Python notebooks I'm gonna create during our course, right? Topic wise. So in order to receive all this material on time, please make sure you are having the right contact. Okay. So anything else? Okay, great. So talking about our course, right? Let's try to make it more engaging. I'm expecting you to ask more and more questions. Try to interact with me as much as possible, right? And whenever I'm asking any question, I'm not testing your knowledge here, but it's a way to interact. You can give me answers whatever you know. Okay, they need not be correct every single time. And in my sessions, you are free to use Google. Okay, so like I said, the reason for asking questions is only to make you interactive rather than testing your knowledge. I'm not here to test your knowledge. Okay, so Google is allowed, and let's have a lots of fun in learning Python. Python is the easiest programming language. Okay, compared to any other programming languages we have, it's the easiest. Okay, so let's try to have loads of fun in learning Python. We are gonna implement few games using Python during our course. Okay, so try to join with laptop as much as possible, guys. Please don't get into this mobile mode. Okay, so where you will only have 50% of your attention towards the session. So I encourage everyone to join using your laptops. Okay, are you with me so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Suresh.
Yeah, we are with you.
Yes.
Suresh. Just a heads up. You have some background noise coming. I don't know whether it's coming from your mic, Suresh, or somebody else. One of them.
Is it for everyone in, guys, or
It was good earlier, but there was some background noise coming. But let's continue, Suresh. I'll let you know.
okay? No, actually, you can raise concerns. Just wanted to check if everything is fine with others, because what you hear now is what you hear in recordings as well.
Exactly. That's the reason why I was drilling. But I think it's good now, Suresh. It's gone now.
Okay, cool. In that case, we are good. Okay. Now, moving on, we'll try to understand, the basic definition of a programming language, guys. Okay, so let's get into Python at a later point in time, but let's try to understand what exactly is a programming language. Any idea what is a programming language?
It's a syntax and set of commands through which we talk to the machine. And I think it is like a barrier between the human language and the computer language.
Okay, just give me a second, guys. Yeah, please go ahead. So yes, that's correct. Any other directions for a programming language?
Do you mind to correct the spelling of the programming?
My bad. Okay.
Okay. Set of instructions to achieve set of instructions and syntax to achieve any output.
Okay. That's correct. Yes, somebody's saying something.
Set of logical statements that's written to make understand system so that it the system gives us the desired output.
Yes. Okay. So all these answers are pretty much correct. Okay. So before we get into the actual definition of programming language, okay, I'm not sure how many of you are already working, how much experience do you have? I don't know whether there are any freshers over here. Okay, but I'm assuming every one of you as a fresher. Okay, so before I talk about the definition of programming language or any other concepts, I just wanted to share one example, guys. Not an example, I would say one incident. Okay, so I was graduated in computer science domain, and trust me, I'm so fed up with programming language. At one point of time, I was thinking about writing bank exams, SBI exams in my final year. I was pretty sure that I'm not going to clear any of my campus interviews. So I have already started preparing for, bank exams. Okay. And one fine day, I come across one organization. I'm based out of Vizag, and I come across one organization, and I just thought, okay, why don't I give it a try, attending the first session. And in the first session, the trainer have changed my way of perceiving things in programming language. Okay, so you are not really proficient in English when you are born, or you are not really proficient in any language. I'm not talking about programming language, any language, but yeah, it is definitely possible for you to learn a language. Okay, when it is possible to learn a language and excel in it, it is definitely easier for you to learn and excel in a programming language too. Because at the end of the day, programming language is nothing but a set of instructions you give to your computer, okay, to get your things done. You're not helping computer, you're helping yourself. Okay, by doing some stuff, be it automations or be it a new application development or be it a web application. Okay, so what you are trying to do is you are trying to give some set of instructions to get your job done by the computer. A computer is a mere slave, as simple as that. It's not intelligent. Intelligence has to be provided by you. Okay, so it does what you tell them to do, as simple as that. Okay, so you are more powerful than your computer, right? So a programming language is just a set of instructions given to get your task done. And like I said, your computer is not self-intelligent to do anything by itself. As simple as that. I mean, the moment I have changed my perception on programming language, there is no stopping. I have learned C in the final year. I have learned C in final year, C++ in final year, Java in final year. Okay, and then I have joined my job. Then I started working as a data engineer. Then I have to learn Python. I learned Python, Scala, and then I was working for Google earlier. And in Google, they use something called as Golang. Okay, so I have learned Golang there. So you learn one programming language, scaling to a different programming language is just a matter of knowing how to Google the syntaxes. Because when you're able to build solution, right? When you're able to design solution, not build, when you're able to design solution, Google can help you with syntaxes. Okay. So another perception of a programming language. So you should know what to search for. in Google. As simple as that. How many of you agree with me? I'm not just randomly telling you things, guys. This is based on my experience. Trust me, I'm a hardcore developer from past 12 years.
So even though I agree on that part, right? But do you think the interview is the same?
Clearing the interview is a different ball game. Sorry, who is that talking? I cannot see your name on my screen.
It's Kumar, Suresh. No, no. You told me, right? Simply finding the syntax and writing. That's the reason I just asked that question. Even though whatever you said, when a person need to write that particular piece of code, right? We have to go through the process of interview, right? You have to
I'll talk about that as well, Kumar. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about that as well. So everything has a start, guys. I mean, when you start learning any technology, keeping interviews in your mind, you will get demotivated for sure. Okay. So it's a process which you'll all have to trust, which every one of us have to trust. Okay. So you'll have to trust the process, stick to the process till you achieve something, be it a job or be it a learning or whatever it is. Okay. So when we start something, we should never start with keeping the most complicated things in the mind. We'll get demotivated for sure. We'll start doing easy things and slowly we increase the complexity and one day we will excel. Right. And Kumar has a point, interviews. Yes, definitely. In interviews, they will be asking you a lot of concepts. Okay. So concepts you will definitely learn for sure. And for the same syntaxes, you don't need to memorize for sure. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Say, for example, in an interview, I don't know how the interviews are happening in US, but in India, there are two ways. Even in US, I believe the same process because most of the interviews are taken by Asians there. I'm not saying Indians, but Asians. Okay. So either they give you an assignment. Okay. So they give you assignment prior to your interview and they'll ask you to solve it. And then they'll talk about your solution and the best practices or maybe the alternate solutions or there will be some discussion on that particular assignment they have given you. This is one way. And the second way is written test. They'll give you a couple of examples or couple of problem statements or maybe 3 to 4 problem statements depending on the time you have and the position you are going to get into. Okay. And in those scenarios, at least in India, 90% of the organizations are allowing you to use Google. Okay. And the third one is to test your basic syntax knowledge. Like you are able to, to test whether you actually have hands-on with programming language. Say, for example, if I am taking an interview, I would definitely ask a couple of questions for sure. Okay, but I don't expect that code to be in a running state in the interview. As long as you are able to provide the solution, the pseudocode or some basic syntaxes, I should be good because I would be easily assessing. Yes, he have almost written 70 to 75% of the code, and given him more time and more access to internet, he'll be able to complete the rest of the 100%. Okay, so that's how the interviews would go. And secondly, in interviews, we don't like giving some, random answers. When I say random answers, you could be conceptually correct, but we would always love to hear technical jargon. Say, for example, I don't really want somebody to come and explain me what is a programming language like the way I did earlier. Okay. Probably when you are elaborating it, that is okay. But I would definitely want to hear some technical jargons like a programming language is nothing but a set of instructions. Again, this is a random example though, but I would definitely love to hear, some good technical jargons. I don't want to hear this and that kind of a language. And you get that by reading. Okay, so attending a session, listening to a session, practicing the problem statements will definitely give you some confidence. But when you are attending an interview, you will have to read. It doesn't matter whether you have 15 years of experience, 20 years of experience, you go and talk to people. When they want to switch a job, they start preparing. they spend time in preparing for interviews. And that preparation is nothing but going through the content to talk what they want to, what they are doing. Sometimes, we will be able to explain what we are doing, but it might not be technical enough for the other person to, uh, to understand what you have really done. Okay. So we call this as talking technology. That is also really, really important. Like I said, boss, we will get all these things in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Definitely not. Have some realistic expectations on yourself. Be patient, right? So all it needs is spending good amount of time. Agreed? Yes, no, maybe. You can use your chat window too.
Agree, 100%.
Yes, yes.
Cool. So that's how it is, guys. I mean, trust the process. The only thing I would always say is trust the process. That's more than anything. You have joined Career IT with some aspirations, to learn something. Trust the process. The process is learning, not cracking your interviews. Okay, so cracking interviews is an outcome, is a byproduct. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to talk about some important interview questions too. Most of the examples which I'm going to show you are the problem statements which are asked in my interview. I'll be mentioning that when I'm dealing with those examples. Okay. So you don't need to worry about memorizing all the syntaxes. This is not your college viva or college exam, guys. Okay, you don't need to memorize any syntaxes. So stop worrying about syntaxes, because this is based out of my experience. I'm telling you, most of the folks, right, the moment they join the session, they understand what the code is doing, but they worry a lot about, what if I have to code it? You will be able to code it, start Googling for syntaxes. Okay. So you don't really need to worry about memorizing all the syntaxes or 200, 300 lines of code. Definitely not. We'll break it down, and we will be more solution driven rather than memorizing syntaxes. Okay. So yeah, program is nothing but a set of instructions, guys. Okay, we'll talk about programming language a little later, but program is nothing but a set of instructions, what you give to your computer to get your task done. As simple as that. Okay, so your task could be anything. Your task could be to use a calculator, or to watch a movie, or to browse something in an internet, right? So whatever your task is, whatever you want to do, you'll be doing it by running some set of instructions. Boss, you might ask me, uh, I'm not running any set of instructions while using any of these tools. Okay, maybe I want to open a website, I'm using Chrome browser, or maybe Explorer, Microsoft Explorer, or maybe to watch a movie, I'm using some Windows Media Player. They're all nothing but softwares, right? So what internally it does is running a program, running those set of instructions. So for example, you're watching a movie, when you click on play button, some set of instructions are getting executed in the back end, right? And when you want to forward the content, when you click on that forward button, some instructions are executing in the back end. Okay, so no user wants to run the bare code. So what we do is, create a beautiful UI for user and create those actions, right? So we click a button, some code will execute in the backend. These are what we call as actions. Okay, so everything you are doing on your computer, some code is running in the backend. It could be one line of code, or it could be some 1,000 lines of code. Okay, but some code is running, right? So a program is nothing but a set of instructions, as simple as that, for getting your task done. And the programming language is a way how you feed that instructions to your computer. Okay, the mode, you need a mode. You have written some set of instructions. Now you need a medium to pass on those instructions to the computer. That's where the programming language comes into picture. Okay. Now, different programming languages we have, you might be knowing C, C++, and then we have Java, we have Python, we have Scala, we have Golang. Okay, so then we have something called as Lua. Lua is a scripting language. This is what I'm referring to. I was using this when I was in Google. Okay, Lua is a scripting language, and then we have JavaScript, we have COBOL, the old languages. Okay, so there are different programming languages using which you can develop your applications. Again, these applications, applications is a generic word. These applications can be categorized, whether you are dealing with data, you end up developing data applications. And again, in data, you have data engineering, data science, right? Or maybe data analytics, where you end up creating some reports. We'll talk about those things in data engineering course. But yeah, these are different categorizations. And then you want to do some activities via a web browser, you end up developing web applications, and then you want to kind of build an application which runs on your machine and help you with your activities. You end up developing desktop applications. Calculator is a desktop application, and then Windows Media Player is a desktop application, right? So there are different categories, and you have different modules for building different types of applications. Okay, but all of them will have one common programming language, which is in our case it's Python. Okay, let me take a pause. Are we good so far? Yes.
Hi, Suresh.
Yes, we are good.
Yeah.
So if you're sharing the screen, I'm not able to see that from the starting. So I joined from the mobile. I'm not sure, is it?
Okay. I think I'm sharing my screen right from the beginning. What about others, guys? I think others are able to see my screen. Somebody corrected my mistake as well.
Yeah, we are able to see your screen.
We can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I highly recommend you to join using your laptops with a good internet connection, guys. Okay, but like I said, the very first moment I'll start sharing my screen. In fact, I start sharing my screen and then I'll start the session. Okay, cool.
Okay, from tomorrow I'm gonna log in from the laptop. Thank you.
Sure thing. Okay, let me stop sharing. So we'll stop here for today, guys. Okay, I know it's a basic introductory session and I just introduced only few things, which is okay. From tomorrow, we are going to get into the actual topics of Python. We'll get to learn what exactly a we understood what a programming language is. We'll try to understand different types of programming languages. We were talking about C, C++, Java, Python, right? We'll try to understand to what category they will fall into, and where and what programming language will hold good. Okay, and then we'll get into the Google Colab environment. I'll be introducing Google Colab environment and we'll do the first program tomorrow, right? And then we'll start with our curriculum where we'll talk about the topics one by one. Okay, maybe I'll stay back for a couple more minutes to address any questions you might have. And you have all the details in the chat window to get yourself added to the groups that were mentioned by Lakshmi.
Hi, Suresh Garu. This is Anusha.
Yeah, hi Anusha.
Hi. I'm a totally beginner. So my background is into biotechnology. But yeah, this is totally new for me. So do you recommend any books? You have recommended to start with some books. So any Python books for the beginner, Lakshmi?
We will talk about that, Anusha. Okay. So, like I said, today is the very first session. Try to get yourself comfortable. I will be recommending books. I'll be recommending blogs. Honestly, I'm not a book person. I'll give you blogs using which you can go through the contents.
Sure. Thank
Okay,
you.
but books also I would recommend if you are keen into reading a book, because not everybody likes going through websites.
Sure, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, I'll also recommend YouTube channels as well. I'm not saying I'm the best trainer, so I really admit there are better trainers. In fact, best trainers. I'm gonna recommend their YouTube channels as well. And it's good to see the same topic delivered by multiple people. You'll get multiple directions, because not everyone will give you the same example.
Right. Yeah, that would be really good. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Not a problem.
One other question, this is Shri. I see the payment details up here, but again, when we are doing the payment from here, we don't have a GPay.
One moment, guys. One moment. Any questions related to logistics? I'm not the right person. Let's talk about Python, data engineering, and other things when I am available. And you can talk about the logistics of this session, like payments, timings, or your clash with other courses when I'm not here. You can talk to Career IT folks directly. The contact details were already shared in the chat window. Okay, they're the right persons to address these questions, which I don't have any control on. Okay.
Got it. Thanks.
No worries. Cool. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the session. I hope you got some understanding on what we will be learning in the next 1 month, right? And I hope you enjoyed the session. I'm excited to train you all and teach you Python. I hope everyone of you will make most out of it. Okay. And only one request from my side, try to be regular, guys. Okay, I understand it might not be possible every single time. You might miss one session or couple of sessions, but please make sure whenever you get some free time, go through the recordings before attending the next session, because most of the sessions will be there will be continuity in most of the sessions. Okay, that's the only request from my side. And yep, that's all from my side. See you tomorrow. Have a good day and good night.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.